Hello, 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 my friends. All right, just gonna hang for a second, see who is on. Hello, hello. It is blowing snow in Fargo for sure. It is beautiful, beautiful winter wonderland, but roads are still quite slick. So, depending on your perspective, it's either beautiful out or not so beautiful out. Just depends. Depends where you want to put your energy. But we got tons of snow here in Fargo, and it's still snowing. So I think we have a good 15, 16 inches, which it has been a long time since we had a good old fashioned blizzard, like a real fun blizzard with the fun snow. So to me, it was kind of cool. Interesting though, they had 2 days off of school. It's been a long time since we've had snow days. So Keaton was not really excited to go to school today. All right, say hello to me in the comments. Let me know you can hear me and see me. Make sure we can see everybody. Hello, Miss Lori Lashman. I bet you guys got a shit ton of snow. Chasing cows in the snow, I bet. All right. Oh, I'm warm in here. Yeah, I just went to my little workout today. So you get workout hair, get workout Jody. Had to go move my body a little bit. It was icy out. Not my favorite. Hello, hello, hello. I'm a fast driver, but I am a grandma in the snow. I'm very, very safety first driver in the winter. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see everybody. All right, we are on day 16. Day 16. Tomorrow, I will be pulling a prize. I do not know what time I will be on tomorrow. I don't know what time I'll be on tomorrow. I'll let you know. I will post it, but I will be pulling another prize tomorrow for those that have gotten over into Mighty Networks and done some comments. You're all going in a hat, and I will pick a prize. We're buried in snow, still have the paths to feed the cows. Yeah. Eli actually made a cat run last night for Ruby. My little dark cat likes to go outside, and she likes to come back to the she shed even in the wintertime. She's an outdoor cat, 100%. And she gets so depressed in the winter because it's cold and she can't walk in the snow and she can't chase the bunnies around. And so he spent an extra half an hour. The man who didn't want cats spent an extra half an hour making a full run for her so she could run around the house if she wanted to. So there's videos posted if you want to see him taking her out, snuggling her up and telling her, look what I made for you, Ruby. It was so funny. So he had to create some paths for the kitties to come outside. Although yesterday was pretty funny because it was snowing really hard at one point and she wanted to come outside and she came outside and did about like 4 steps and she was like, nope. And she went back inside. Too windy. Okay, so I had kind of an interesting conversation with somebody the other day, and I thought it'd be a great subject to talk about. I thought it would be fun to talk about bragging or celebrating who you are, what you've done, accomplishments, things like that. And what happens if your life is going really, really, really well and there's people around you that are really, really, really challenged, and then you dim your light because you don't want them to feel bad. I think every person I've ever known has done that at one time or another, or all the time. I definitely was told that as a kid to don't brag and don't talk too much about that because, you know, the people next to you or my brother or whoever is going to feel bad. And so I always learned to not celebrate my wins and not celebrate the good stuff and keep it quiet and kind of dim my light around it and just kind of keep going and meet people at their challenge or their crisis instead of instead of encouraging people to come up into the celebration. And so I thought that would be an interesting conversation today. So do you all get, or have you all had that kind of experience where you don't feel like you can celebrate very well because you might make someone else feel bad? I know I have lots and lots and lots. I had to really learn how to voice when things are going well. And I was in a mastermind, and it was a small one. It was great because there's only a couple of us. And so one of our things every week was to talk about our wins. And it was hard for all of us. And because we felt like we were bragging. And the thing that was so interesting is even on the weeks where maybe a couple of us were more challenged and one was doing really, really well, we were so excited for the one that was doing well. And it kind of fired us up to put a little bit more energy into something, or try again, or try it a different way, or do something different. And it always shifted our energy because we were being brought into the celebration instead of the one that was doing well that week being brought into our challenge. And it was such a good experience for me to experience that, because I got inspired by it instead of being annoyed by it. Now, do people get jealous on the other side of it and feel bad and all that? Sure, of course, but that belongs to them. That doesn't belong to you. And that was really hard too, because I tend to take on, and I always want people to feel good. And so I don't want to do something to make them feel bad. Right. But I also don't want to sacrifice my own health and well-being by never celebrating things that are going well in my life. And I think there's a fine line, because if someone's really, really down and out, I'm not going to be like, hey, well, listen to how great my life is. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when something's going really well. So a great example is, I have a great friend. We've been friends for years and years and years and years, been through lots and lots and lots of stuff on both sides. And we've both been there for each other in lots of different ways. And her daughter passed away a few years ago. And I remember that first year, I really wanted to just support her in any way that I could. And it was checking in, doing, taking her food or taking her for lunches when she was ready to get out of the house, like different things like that. And I never talked about anything in my life, nothing that was happening. And I had some good stuff happening, and I had some challenges happening. And I remember, I can't remember. I think it's when my dad got sick. And I asked if we could go out for a drink. And I remember asking her, I said, I really just need to bitch for like 20 minutes. I just need 20 minutes. I need to be heard. I don't need it fixed. I don't need advice. I just need to be heard. And she goes, oh my God, it's about effing time. I am so tired of talking about myself. Bring it on. And I started laughing, and I was like, what? And she goes, I am so tired of not hearing about your life. And she goes, and I know why you're doing that. She goes, but please give me something else to think about besides my life right now, because she was in a lot of pain and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, never thought about it that way. And she goes, yeah, everyone's doing that. I don't know anything about anyone or any of my friends because nobody thinks they should talk about themselves. And I was like, interesting. Okay. And so I had my little pity party, and we had a drink and stuff like that. And it felt good for both of us to find some normalcy in that, in our friendship. And then I actually had some other really great things happening. And I said, I do have some really kind of fun things, but I don't want to be talking about fun things if that's not where you are. And she's like, oh my God. She's like, would you just tell me the good stuff? She goes, do you not think that I need some good stuff told to me that's happening in the world? She goes, I don't have a lot of good stuff right now, but boy, it would be nice to feel good for my friends for a while. And I thought, oh, okay. And so I told her some of the celebratory things. And I thought, wow, we don't do this very often. And so we kind of made a pact that we would ask about our good stuff in each other's lives, because she's self-employed, I'm self-employed, and it's hard to be self-employed. And so we really make sure we ask about what's working. And I thought that's a great thing. I'm going to do that with a couple other friends. And I have another friend that we don't see each other very often. She's in the cities. But when we get together, we spend more time talking about all the great things that are happening and encouraging each other. And yeah, we'll talk about some of the stuff that's not working, but we spend so much more time. And it's always very like, oh my God, I knew that was going to happen for you. I'm so happy for you. That's so exciting. And what about this? And what about that? And then she does the same back to me. And it's such a beautiful equal energy exchange. And even when she's down, she'll say, okay, tell me what's going on that's good in life. And it's such a different space to be in a relationship. But I don't think if that would have happened with my friend that I would happen. Oh, did I just cut out? Can you guys still see me? Let me know if you can still see me. Looks like it cut out there for a second. This heavy snow is probably messing with my signal a titch. All right. Okay. All right. So if I wouldn't have had that kind of thing brought to my attention, I think that would have been a disservice for a lot of my relationships. I remember at a retreat we did one time, it was the most awesome moment, and it was really hard for the one woman. So there was only maybe 5 people, and we were doing this cool retreat with horses, which I love. It was so amazing. And we were going around just kind of talking about what the challenges were that people were there that they wanted to move through, and setting intentions and all that kind of stuff. And we had one woman who had lost her husband a few years before. I think it'd been more than a few years at that point. And she was quite at peace with that. And she had been remarried and all this kind of stuff. And so she was in a good spot. And she'd done a lot of work on her grief and all that kind of stuff. But she was just in a, she didn't cry every time she talked about it at that point. And then another woman had just lost her dog and lost it. She just lost it. And she's like, oh my God, I'm over here crying over a dog and you lost your husband. And we could all feel the energy shift. And the woman who lost her husband, she's like, my loss isn't any more or less powerful than your loss, whether it's a pet, a child, a baby, a friend, a husband, a spouse, whatever. And it was such an amazing moment because, again, you can't compare your life to somebody else's, or your pain to somebody else's, or your joy or celebration to somebody else's, because everyone's at a different thing. And so I would love to remind people that it's okay to share good news. I know that there's a lot of shit going on in the world. I know there's a lot of loss. I know there's a lot of grief. I know there's a lot of depression. I know there's a lot of people struggling, and it's not to take away from that or to shove that under the rug and not tell people to talk about it or get support or anything. Quite the opposite, quite honestly. Sometimes the message that comes through from spirit is shine your light a little brighter so those that aren't in the light can find it. And I thought, well, that's a powerful message. And so tell us the good stuff that's going on in life. Sometimes people need to see it. Sometimes that jealousy that people feel if someone's doing really well and they're not, sometimes that energy is enough to just spark them a little bit and get them going. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes that anger can be very productive. And not that I want people anger or jealous or anything, but sometimes it does spur them on a little bit. I definitely was motivated by that many, many times working in my business. And I have a lot of colleagues that their businesses are in much different places than mine. And we've been doing it the same amount of time and all this stuff. And every once in a while it gets to me and I'm like, oh, screw that. I'm going to do this, this, and this now. And so it's more inspiring. I don't let it drag me down like I used to, if that makes sense. Okay. So when it's time to celebrate something, celebrate. Social media can be used for celebration. It can be used for joy. It can be used for, hey, I'm so excited. I remember Foster did so great in his trade school, and I'm a big trade school supporter. I love trade schools for kids. I don't think a lot of kids are built for your colleges. I think a lot of them would do really well in trades. And it was never talked about when he grew up. Like I had one teacher talk to me about it when he was in 5th grade, and he was like, listen, like he is going to be a trades kid and he's going to do so well. And I was like, I know that. I've known that since he was in 1st grade. And I bragged the shit out of that because I was so proud because he loved it, first of all. And it was so fun because he struggled all through high school. He hated school, did not care for school at all, but he liked all his trades. And it was so fun to be able to put it out there and to show him all the support that other people were giving him. And they don't know him. They were celebrating him and being excited about it. And I was like, you need to celebrate this. This is something to celebrate. I have another friend that is retiring after many, 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 many years at work. And I was like, maybe don't just go home alone that day unless you really want to, but like celebrate it. Like we need to do a toast and we need to celebrate all the work you've put in. Well, I don't want to make a big deal. Screw that. Make a big deal. That's a huge commitment that you made for all those years. You put a lot of time and effort and energy into that. And so I think it's important for us to celebrate more now. More than anything right now, it would be great to see Facebook or social media filled with good news. And I really try to use my page for good news. Definitely have moments that I ask for prayers. Definitely have moments where I struggle, whatever. But I really try to use my social media as a place to put the light and put the celebration. And hey, look at this cool thing that happened. And hey, look at this fun thing. Yes, I have all the shit in life too, but we all do. We all know we have shit in life. We all know that we all have problems in life. But I know we all have joy in life too, even if it's those tiny little moments. Like watching Eli with the cat thing, that was really funny to me. I'm like, that's funny. Like the guy who didn't want cats, but now after, all this time loves these cats, that he's willing to stay outside in the cold and build this thing for this cat. Like that's a funny thing to celebrate. And I just think people really hold back on celebration and joy and sharing it on social media. And it doesn't just have to be on social media. But getting over that, you shouldn't brag. I'm like, yeah, you should. I want to see the trip pictures. I want to see the pictures of your kids if you're comfortable sharing them. I want to see, the big steps you've taken to quit smoking or to enjoy life again or walk through a divorce or find a house or buy your first car all by yourself or, whatever it might be. I love to see that stuff because I love to be the cheerleader, to be like, damn right, girl, keep going. And it is such a better place to live than to sit in all of the pain and the challenge that quite honestly, we've all been in for so long now. I think it's become normal. I would love joy to be normal and celebration to be normal. And look how great my family is to be normal. And you don't have to do the fake stuff. I know there's a lot of people that I think it's funny when I show pictures because it usually takes me 6 or 7 pictures to get a nice one with Eli because he just has a thing. He just smiles like a crazy person instead of just smiling like he smiles. And so every once in a while, I'll put all the pictures it took to get the nice social media one and to show people that, it's still funny to do stuff like that. And it's still fun. So you don't have to show the perfection of your life, but do show the joy of your life. Does that make sense, you guys? Brag a little. Tell me something good that's happening. So those that are on, brag a little. Tell me something good that's happening. Put it in the comments. Give me a little good news. Give me a little joy. What have you maybe accomplished this year, or what are you making steps on? Doesn't always have to be the biggest goal. Maybe it's just taking steps. Me working out still. I started working out with Barb last year and I'm still sticking to it. That's a major goal for me. Just to stay consistent with it. And so like, that's fun for me. I feel so much better. She's super fun. We have a good time. But that's an accomplishment this year. That's a big deal. Learning how to ski better, big deal for me. All those kinds of fun things. Nice. My Sue said my daughters have included me in their girls' weekend. That's awesome. That doesn't always happen. So that's a big deal. See, isn't it fun just to share some of that kind of stuff? I don't know. I just think I think it's a sad thing when we can't share good news. It doesn't feel right to me. It's never felt right to me. Like, why can't I talk about the good things that are happening or the good things that I'm good at? Things like that. Is Sue really the only one that has something good going on in life? I don't believe that. Give me a couple more shares, my friends. Couple more little fun, joyous things that are happening. Something you're looking forward to, something that you get to do, something that you accomplished. Sandra says, I'm starting up a business. Awesome. That's awesome, Lori. She said, I had the best record, 11-2 in a regular fantasy football season with over 19 guys. I'm in the playoffs. Doesn't shock me, though. Doesn't surprise me a bit. Okay, what else? Give me a couple more, friends. There's lots of you on. I can see ya. What else? Give me at least one more before we wrap it up. Oh, see, Kathy, that's awesome. So she said, I finished my Christmas shopping today. Huge. I have not. I'm usually out on Christmas Eve, us too. This is the piece that I love. I went on my first solo trip in April, and she's 62. You know what a big deal that is? Do you know how many women I meet that have never gone on a trip by themselves ever? And I remember my first trip all by myself, like my first trip that included flying, renting a car, driving to a place, getting to know the place. Like it was a big deal. And I love that. I will celebrate that all day long with you and encourage you to do it more and more and more and more. I think that's a big deal. I love that. Tammy said, I met a woman 4 years ago for business that has blossomed into an authentic friendship. Isn't that fun? I have a couple of those too. It's pretty amazing when that happens. I love those connections like that. And you know what? Women need to hear about that. You would be shocked how many women in my age range, so like 45 on up, that talk about how hard it is to find friends at this age. And to hear a woman that actually met someone through business, because that's usually how we talk to people at this age, and then it turned into a friendship. That's a big deal. Love it. Lori said, I went back to work as a flight attendant after 23 years and raising 3 kids. It's like a piece of me was missing, and I'm so stoked to be flying again. That is amazing. See, isn't that fun to hear all these things? I love it. See, I could listen to that stuff all day long. I've always wanted some TV station, like a main TV station, to just offer good news all day long. Like imagine if all we heard all day was good news instead of all the shit that's going on in the world. And again, not that you can just ignore the shit. That's not what I'm saying. But imagine if we spent more time paying attention to things that were working and the good stuff. It would change the world. It really, really would. So keep sharing. So one of the things, your homework, if you have not logged into the Mighty Networks group yet, please do. And join our community and start to share your good news. I will be on tomorrow, and I'll let you know what time. And we'll do another prize drawing tomorrow for anyone that is in our Mighty Networks group for this course. And we will just keep on moving. So on this weekend, I'm home. And then next week, all of my lives will be while I'm on the road. I get to do a little travel trip to the cities, which really felt more exciting when it was 30 degrees and all the roads were clear. So I'm like, oh no, I hope these roads clear up. But we're going to be doing all sorts of fun stuff. And so I will be doing some lives from the road and some lives from some fun activities that I have going on in the cities. And so I will still be coming on every day live. I just might be a little bit more flexible with what time I'm coming on, just depending what my plans are. So I will be back tomorrow morning. We'll have another conversation. But today I want everyone to do a post and brag about some good news, and then ask your friends to ask about their good news and for them to brag a little bit. And let's get some energy going in that part. Okay. All right, my friends, I am off for the day. So I will talk to you all, but go share some good news. Get your friends to share some good news, and let's get the vibe up on Facebook and social media and all over the place. Okay. Never going to hurt to do that. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. See ya.